Yeah. Yeah, audio's on.
Hey guys, looks like we're live. What's the delay on the stream?
I don't know.
It's like a few seconds.
It's a couple seconds.
I haven't heard me say anything yet, so.
Wait.
How could anybody miss your music?
Wait,
Oh, there we go.
Ooh, the Fiora band.
Okay. Target vans.
That's probably a band towards Brendan, honestly. Because,
Wait.
like, for Brendan top lane, like...
Wait,
like,
Darren, don't cast off the League of Legends client because the stream is.
Wait,
no, never mind. I take that back.
Wait, what? Okay. Yeah, because like the couple times that like Brendan played top lane, like he's basically played only Fiora.
There's no delay.
Great. Let's start casting. Not man.
Yeah.
Let me get in there.
Wait, who's
It looks
that?
like they're banning out Jared, or Arthur Cody. To be fair, he's the only guy like on the team who's playing his actual role.
Nice.
I probably should have changed that, but although to be fair, we didn't have that many AD players. Surprising, there's no like ardent support bands right now.
I don't know. I feel like the only worthy band is
We do what we must.
outside of that, not a lot.
Jana, Soraka, and Lulu are both all really good right now.
I don't know if Raka's worth the band. I think Lou and Jana are though.
Let's see. It's at least 10 bands. Hey, see?
As you wish.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Maybe they're listening to our advice on the stream. Who knows, dude? Maybe they're cheating.
They're
in
just
this
ghosting.
tryout.
They're just ghosting the stream.
Oh, did you guys already talk about the Lee Sin ban? That's an interesting one coming out of the red team.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I feel like. I mean, I'm not sure about about the other team, but I don't think they have any really big Lee Sin players.
Yeah, I mean, in the current meta, it almost feels like a target ban. It's just not a general purpose.
I think he's alright if other things.
Oh wow, bold Yasuo ban coming out.
And a bold
Well,
rhythm
to be
pick
fair,
to follow.
Rice, otherwise known as Aya, is impetus for feeding on Yasuo's. So if anything, I'm surprised.
Oh,
That they did.
Shaco locks in Shaco. I didn't see that one coming.
He's apparently he's support, I believe, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, he told me he main Shaco support, so I'm actually kind of interested to see what that looks like.
For our viewers that are just joining us, we're casting the MVHS eSports League of Legends tryouts for the 2017-18 school year.
Wait, that's actually super scary. Like, Brendan is known for like picking full AD German and just one-shotting everybody.
Actually, one other thing Brendan was picking was like fully doubted Tryout. It seemed pretty good, but I don't know. That would be something else.
Yeah, in that game I remember he killed Warwick, I think 8 times in the first 15 minutes. It was pretty ridiculous.
So, getting
Darren,
back
any thoughts on that pick or no?
Getting back on topic. Let's see. I'm not sure. I mean, personally, I'd pick like because they picked something so aggressive as like Jarvan and
Fiddlesticks to lead. This team was trying to cut off and flank and go at it. I'm like,
yeah, I mean, I actually really like the Fiddlesticks. It's really nice into the Jarvan, especially like early on when Jarvan relies on getting early kills so he can snowball into some of his into some of his time spikes. And if you have a fear that can stop Jarvan from DPSing you for a couple seconds, that can actually be really big. I think the only thing Team 1 needs left is a tank or some sort of frontline to round out the company.
Sejuani and Sirit. I like that. That's sick. That's the team that's just trying to go ham.
Yeah, that's actually a really scary team. Although it focuses mainly around Brendan.
Wait, so where is Rice going? I'm a little lost on the picks from recently.
Rice
I
is
I believe he's jungling.
Oh, he's
And that's a jungle Zed locked in.
I mean, I've seen Jungle Casting it, like another mid lane assassin that seemed alright, but like Jungle Zed. Yikes.
I don't know, man. To be fair,
Do you two have any thoughts on the?
I
Oh,
know.
it looks like a
It's
Zaya
just
pick.
not okay.
I mean, since it's Armor Toady, he's probably just gonna feed on that pick, so it don't matter.
That is true.
Muffins are us hovering Heimerdinger. I kind of like this pick actually, with such a dive-heavy team comp coming from blue side, and he switches off to Oriana.
I mean, it's safe. It's good, and it's really really nice. It rounds off the team comp they have off pretty nicely.
So let's talk win conditions.
I mean, I think for blue side, they scale pretty decently. Wait, but Fiddlesticks has class.
Not as well as red side. I mean,
think
red
Side's
side
got
has
good. Yeah, they got Sivir, Ori, Sedge, Jarvan. They're gonna. I think the mid game, but
in a tank.
I think the wild card for this entire game. There's actually two. It's gonna be the Shaco and the Zed jungle. Like even the Fiddlesticks support. Like you don't know what they can do.
The wild card.
The wild card, man.
The wild
It
card.
can do anything. It can be great. It can win them the game. Imagine a Fiddlesticks ult after a Talia wall cut off. Whew, it's gonna do a lot of
I
damage.
feel like blue team would be a really strong 1-3-1 or really strong split push composition compared as they have Talia and Zed, both of which are really good alone in the side lane. Well, I think the red team will probably be looking more to 5v5 and scale up.
Oh, for sure, and that's why I really like this Zaya pick, because in a team with very little CC, or I mean peel and CC, you have self peel for getting away from this Sejuani Sivir engage.
Oh, that's true. With blue team seems more of like a steamroll. Like we're gonna hope to get kills early and just hope that like we don't get into late game.
I think it'd be interesting if we see an invade come out of either of these teams, but I don't think the level 1 5v5 coordination is going to be all there.
I mean, Talia, Fiddlesticks, and Riven are both
Right.
like,
Blue
like
team has a
really
very
good
strong.
invades.
Yeah, blue team has a very strong level 1, but I'm not sure if a Zed jungle would want to risk an invade.
To be fair, if you're playing Zed jungle, like, you kind of need to take those risks to make sure that you don't become like irrelevant later on. Although we're just waiting for the spectator delay.
Yeah, it's really hard to. We would be doing more speculation for those of you tuning in on stream, but it's very hard to say how this is going to turn out because neither team is a very traditional team comp.
I got a question. What's the spectator delay? Because I got NA for both. So I don't actually know what the delay is.
Yeah, I'm getting nan.
Nan. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I think it usually comes out to 3 minutes.
Oh. So how are you doing today, Alan?
Great. Actually, I got some rest before this stream to prepare for casting. What about you?
I'm doing great. I had a piano lesson in the morning. I'm very sad that I didn't get to see Jared get pimped out by the
dude,
team.
we
For those
got
you don't
him
know,
going.
Oh, and we're hopping into game right now, so that's enough of Darren for one day.
for those who don't know, Arbor Tony, otherwise known as Jared,
Was not a
went through
real
some
boy
clothes
until
shopping.
today.
Went through
Did
some
not
clothes
know how
shopping
to
earlier
dress.
today.
So the boy Muffin Russ and I, we helped him out.
Wasn't Rice there too? I feel like Rice was there too.
Rice was there, but he was just a clothes rack. He just
Where'd
held
you guys
stuff.
go?
I think that might be a metaphor for this game, depending on how the jungle matchup plays out.
Where'd you guys shop? Actually,
Went to like Uniqlo.
Okay, I think we can talk about this later.
the game hasn't even loaded in yet, dude. Relax.
And we're in.
Oh wait, is it loaded for me?
I'm getting some freezing here. I'm not seeing anything show up.
I got working in-game tips. Is any? I got a black it's all dark like fog of war everywhere. Is that the same for you
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're seeing something.
We're in it.
yeah.
Never mind.
Probably just a little bit delay.
Oh, we're gonna hide the chat because that is not appropriate language. Thank you, Mucho Rojo, for that quick tip.
Ah, yeah, come on.
So, let's see. Relatively standard. I mean, nothing out of the blue. You have quite on Shaco support, which is kind of weird, especially because after they buffed
Okay.
Baldur's Edge, you would expect with an ignite exhaust like super aggro support that you'd want to go for that extra AP.
Chris, we're gonna need you to leave it on directed camera just so we all have the same stream viewing.
Dust it off. Get down with me.
But it doesn't seem like blue team is going on an invade. Of anything, it looks like red team is playing a little more aggressively. Although you see Shaco trying to bush cheese brush.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It doesn't look like blue team has vision on this, but they have been pinging it repeatedly.
Yeah, so maybe, I mean, maybe they know, or maybe they suspect that Shaco's trying to like bush cheese that.
Yeah, I'm guessing that the Shaco maybe does this fairly often.
Like a lot.
His placing of traps is actually very interesting because usually you want to go for a triangle, but it's usually set up slightly differently because I think these first two will fear them away.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. We'll see.
Okay, so standard leash coming out of both blue and red team.
Oh yeah.
Fiddle face checking the bush and
Oh wait.
gets feared in.
I mean, Shaco has ignite.
Yeah, could go for something here. Chooses to
That's actually
hold
really
both
big.
summoners.
They can force, like, with that sort of health advantage, you can easily force a bot lane level 2. An early level 2.
Yeah, as you can see, Fiddle's popped both pots already. The other thing to notice right here is we actually have a Stealthy Sedge Fiddlesticks versus a Coin Shaco. It'll be interesting to see how the gold plays out in this lane.
I'm more interested in the refillable potion. You don't really buy refillable potion that early as support, as like it's not that great in the early stages of playing, and you'd rather get the 3 potions. And generally, like when you get refillables that early, that's generally like a sign of like being super greedy.
Definitely, and I think I see it a lot when you want to get off an early roam and then back.
Oh. Mid lane trading pretty interesting. Both. Oh, it looks like Muffins is higher. Will have like higher point total, or higher like HP, because he still has more cards. For the most part, it looks like the biggest lead right now is in top lane. Brendan or Physic is currently up like 5-ish CS.
Oh, but we're seeing a gank up here. Dead jungle coming up. Physics forced to flash.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very smart game plan. Physic or Brendan is known to be a really he is like high diamond. He's known to be a very, very good player who can hard trade points. Let's see. It looks like they're gonna dive him. I'm not sure.
It's a little bit risky. Jarvan's
Yeah,
well known for getting out of dive situations.
They don't have any hard CC or like a really good way to reset turret aggro. So
Jarvan's W actually scales in health in shield with the amount of enemies nearby.
I believe they just nerfed that. But yeah, it's still really good when it comes to like countering. Let's see. It looks like. Oh. Well, I think a big thing to watch for this game is top lane, especially with Brendan, because Brendan is known to be a very, very solo player, or a player that can snowball really, really well and take over a game. So I think a big part of this competition is Brendan as Jarvan enabling the rest of his team. Because the biggest, like, one of the biggest initiation tools is...
Oh, looks like a hard getting fought. Sejuani was feared back toward the turret. The E doesn't come out, steps under tower, gets stunned.
Yeah, that seems like a little bit of miscommunication right there. I think Sejuani went really hard, and the ball wasn't able to back him up. Yeah, but yeah, I still think at the end, back to my original point, I think the biggest like a lot of this tool, a lot of this red team revolves around this Jarvan. You have Sivir, who can speed up Sejuani for the initiation, but for the most part, the biggest combo you're looking off to get is a Sivir speed up into Ori Jarvan.
And I think this goes back to your point of how the two teams are going to play out. Jarvan, although he has a very strong laning matchup, most of the time doesn't scale into a side lane split push as well as Riven does. And likely won't be able to match Riven as the game goes on. So we're probably going to see Physic needing to be the catalyst for roaming and movement around the map and forcing fights.
Yeah, also, looking at the jungle matchup, you can definitely see the jungle Zed struggling to get off the ground. He is down about like half the CS, or he's about 20 CS, and he's almost getting doubled by the Jordan.
I don't think I can pull up gold values for you guys on the stream here, but it looks like Riven's gonna go down in this gank.
It was nice. Really good layering of CC. They made sure that Riven was not able to get out of that.
Absolutely.
In terms of the jungle, Sejuani is up currently about almost 400, 500 gold.
500 gold ahead, yeah. Definitely something to be considered. Sejuani doesn't have a particularly strong...
Oh, DC.
Yeah, it looks like he went AFK there. Again, Sejuani has a very strong early clear, Zed not so much. And it doesn't look like that's going to cost Red Team that much. The wave gets pushed under turret, and looks like Sivir's able to clean it up.
I mean, if you look at this, you see that Ori has a lot of mid priority. So I think Sejuani should look to invade. Should be looking to invade the Zed, considering how much the mid lane and also how much the top lane is pushing him.
Yeah, and we haven't gotten a good look at mid lane yet on this stream, but it's very interesting to see that Ori is actually being able to push out Talia in this matchup.
Yeah, I think the matchup itself is relatively even.
Yeah, it's very even, and it's a fairly passive matchup where both parties are usually looking to shove out as quickly as possible to deny roam.
Although I'm surprised that, I mean...
Oh, action coming in. Riven looks to be roaming down. A good Sejuani counter gank.
Did Riven TP in, or do you know?
I don't think she TP'd in there. I think she ran into him.
Oh.
Shockwave connecting. Zed looks for the... whatever the hell his Q's called.
It's called like Shadow Shuriken or something.
We here.
Death Shuriken? Chris, what is Zed's Q called?
Isn't it something?
Oh, Razor Shuriken. It's Razor
yeah,
Shuriken.
How we doing? I'm back.
We're doing great. I mean, for the most part, this game is actually relatively even. I think the biggest discrepancy you see is, I think you see the jump Zed not exactly working out that well.
I think it has potential. It's down only 30 CS, but hey, as long as you board and can play
Well,
tank.
the other thing to consider is
Down 1,000 gold by 10
At that,
minutes.
Yeah.
Oh well, I take back everything I said. It seems that this Zed pick is just not working out. You're right.
the thing to consider about Zed is it's not just about how far he's down compared to his counterpart. It's about how much he's down compared to the people he needs to be assassinating. So mid lane Zed gets a lot of resources funneled into him, and honestly, this team comp doesn't look that great for Zed. He's got a Sivir on one end and no other priority target to assassinate, besides maybe Orianna, depending on how this game plays out. Oh, and
my.
wow.
That was a lot of
Seiko
damage.
just goes.
Very
Armor 30 going aggressive, doesn't have E up.
Oh,
Oh,
what
goes
a
for the E5.
beast.
That's a hypey play.
Armor Toadie's an animal.
what else
Disgusting.
do you expect from the 80 carry of the MVHS eSports league team?
Such a distinguished player, has really made a name for himself.
Other than feeding in our actual matches, but hey, he's doing well here. That's what matters.
We are a family-friendly and family-positive stream.
Your comments in the chat says otherwise.
Yeah, so Xayah able to finish her Essence Reaver by 11 minutes. That's really important, not just for trades, but also for establishing priority.
What is priority?
Oh, I think that's a great thing we can talk about after this fight mid. A nice seismic shove pulls Zori back into... Oh, and the 1v1
Rice trying
solo
to steal
kill.
the kill, man.
Luckily, Zed's ult doesn't go on cooldown if the person dies while casting.
Although it was a really good trade by Magma.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So the Talia actually held the seismic shove there until she was sure that she could land it, which was very important for actually getting the better of that trade.
Yeah. It looks like Physic is trading. I think
Forces out the Riven ult.
the
It looks like Riven was thinking about going aggressive there, but decided against it.
Yeah. It looks like this Shaco support is focused mainly on camping that does.
And it doesn't seem to be too effective.
Yeah.
Hey, but maybe we don't know if this is an early game pick. For all we know, it scales very well. I haven't seen Shaco support personally. I don't know what it builds. I don't know what it does, but the power of surprise can be very strong.
Zed's looking for a gank. Top lane takes the blast cone over, finds the pink ward.
And Sejuani is ganking from the back, but I'm not sure if they can do this with the.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this actually turns out. Xayah's still holding ult. Sejuani gets feared back. Sivir looking for something. Xayah ults. Holds E. Oh, look at that turnaround.
Yeah. Although that was a very weird gank. It's again this communication discrepancy. I think the Sejuani needs to be more clear about.
Well, I think the other issue is that Fiddle support here actually makes it a very important point, which is that he's able to fear Sejuani out, so it's actually hard for Sejuani to get that initial engage down without using ult from range.
True.
So usually Sejuani...
I think once as soon as Shaco died, I think they need to back off.
Oh, definitely. Usually Sejuani is a primary initiator, but the bot lane actually lacks a lot of CC to set up ganks in this case, because Fiddle's able to fear Sejuani away. Little tussle in the river.
But again,
Sejuani gets the better.
Again, we see the problems with Zed jungle. Like even though he's assassin,
Oh, but looks like they're collapsing onto Sejuani. Hunter Killer forced to flash out.
That was a good collapse. Because it was very obvious that Sejuani really wanted to fight over this.
Why does Rice's name have a Y in it?
I don't know. I think he's just trying to be edgy.
Zed goes for the ult, looks for 3 shurikens. Deathmark procs no way out of here for Zed, except he takes the blast cone over.
Brendan goes in for the kill. Although, yeah, stuff.
When a bottom lane.
Oh, actually, for the disengage, Riven still got the ulti.
It looks
Fires
like
it, Brennan flashes out. Goes back in.
Oh. It looks like Oriana went back mid after that fight. I think there was more communication discrepancies among the red team.
I actually like that play because I think Oriana is more. It's more important for her to shove out that lane than to.
Hand said she this blue buff. I think or this red buff.
It's a real question.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's fine. I was getting a little hypey there. Oh, and a set
Oh,
played by the
interesting
Shaco, but he's
Shaco.
low HP.
Top
I
lane.
don't know about this one.
I don't know if you two noticed, but Shaco actually had 2 longswords in his inventory and now has a revolver. So last time I
wait,
checked, those
right.
2 things don't build into each other.
Maybe it's like the early game AD trading, and then you just like.
Yeah, so it looks like an
Talia
interesting
going in for a
choice.
kill, and she turns
Oh, that was an unnecessary heal, but it was still a good
I think
fight.
It was still a good
I'd
turnaround
rather
from.
be like the Ori. Better be safe than sorry. I feel
Yes.
that.
That's definitely true.
Oh, Zed going in for the kill. Hits one of these shurikens, but doesn't matter. How well do you think the Zed jump will scale into the other one?
So Chris, you may not have been here, but we actually had a conversation about that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you mind going over it again?
No problem at all. So, Darren, you want to summarize?
Yeah, so this is actually my point I was talking about. I think red team has a much better 1-3-1 against push composition because they have like really good and really safe champions in the side lanes. Like,
Definitely. And the thing about Zed, the thing about Zed is that when he team fights, he has to find an assassination and get out. So most of the time you see Zed in more of a split push role, but I don't think there's actually a split pusher on the side of red team that Zed can match in this 1v1 side lane.
Saya caught here. Okay, no, I thought she was. Oh wait, Shaco stepped up. Oh, a fight in the
Well,
mid lane.
another really big thing about this red team is that they don't have any they don't have a lot of CC for the Xayah. Considering Xayah is the main threat on their team. Like all the CC that they could use to catch us are relatively telegraphed.
It's very hard to force a fight from red team unless they get a wombo combo onto multiple members of the blue team. I think, especially for Xayah, we'll have to see if Armor Toady makes any mistakes and gets caught out, because I don't think there's a great way for red team to force this onto him.
Definitely. I think this game will be a real test of Armor Toad's positioning, which is known to be very good around these parts.
I think if Xayah just picks up the QSS, like she's chilling. With the Xayah ult, you can.
Right, but
dodge
is
away.
Armor Toady known to go for team-oriented buys like QSS?
I mean, he bought Runans once on Caitlyn. That's some wave.
Wow, that is
That's
an
as
extremely
team-oriented as it's
team-oriented
getting
buy.
from him. So hey, you never know.
It's true. For the most part, it seems like there's been
Oh, Zed looking for a play down on Sivir. Gets in.
Good.
She's holding spell shield. Gets popped this time on that spell shield.
Actually, you have to spell shield the initial, not the damage.
Yeah,
So,
that's very true, but I don't think she expected the initial burst to come out before the
that was a
ulti.
lot. Oh, I thought Zed had a dusk blade. I was just.
It was a very good side lane roam by the Zed, but at the same time, I think the Sivir need to be careful farming that far down in bot lane without any vision.
Also, if you look at the map, red side has significant vision in their bot side jungle, but not so much in that entrance from river.
Although we've been talking a lot about Xayah and her lead, it looks like top lane and Brennan has been amassing a really big CS deficit.
I mean, it's very comparable to Xayah's lead, and I think that Jarvan with a CS lead is nowhere near as impactful in a team fight as Xayah.
That's true. I think a big part about Jarvan is
But it's
kind of like his one-shot potential, and
yeah,
I think
very true.
I think he needs to get a couple items for him to really
That said, I think that it's important for Brennan to actually go for the upgraded Tiamat here because he needs to extend this lead he has over top lane as long as possible, because at some point Riven will be able to match him in a 1v1, and then it'll be a lot harder for red team to be able to control side lanes.
Oh, that was
Oh, a hyphy play by red
was
team, but
play.
nothing actually connects. And we didn't see that, but Jarvan actually gets out from the Xayah roam. An interesting choice to have your AD roam top. But it looks like they might get a tower out of it.
I actually never saw the comp. There's actually a really nice composition by the red team. In addition to Jarvan delivering the Orianna ult, you could have an invisible Orianna ult come out through the Shaco. Although I think once if Shaco completes his ancient coin into a talisman, I think that would be actually a very deadly combo.
That's true, but it's also important to note that we have a very interesting... Oh, and we've got action down on bot lane. Zed actually going to hold the ult in that situation. I think a smart play overall. Like I was talking about before we got interrupted, it's important to talk about how the team fight plays out position-wise, because we have a very distinct back and front line from the blue team. Darren, any thoughts on the matter?
I think a big thing about the bot lane is that there used to be a very big goal differential for the in terms of the jungle matchup. But there used to be a very big goal differential in the jungle matchup, but because Ryze has been able to
No, I don't.
Yeah, to second that, Zed was able to get a few picks, which is very important for him to be able to scale up. Actually goes back into the shadow.
And
Gets popped.
Risky play.
yeah. Back to my point. I think a big thing about it was Lucas has been getting caught out. And I think, especially like as a Siffer, it's more important to group with your team than rather be farming a side lane.
Oh, completely. Group with your team, and also Sivir should really never be caught out with all the
Flash him by Talia, but Muff and
interesting
Rust
fight
is
in the mid
strong.
lane.
Even had
Again,
heal for that.
It's important not to get caught out as Sivir because you really have the luxury of pushing lanes very quickly and being able to back off with mobility.
Something interesting about this game, there are no locket purchases or no redemption purchases, and there's no vows.
Oh,
do you think
support
about
on
that?
support action here.
I mean, to be fair, I think support. Especially with the support Shaco, Vow or Redemption or Locket isn't something you generally would
Oh,
go.
and a dive onto armor. Looks like Hunter Killer might be caught out here. Oh, there he goes. What could happen now? Are they gonna look at Baron? What do you think? I think Baron's definitely possible now.
Yeah. I mean, there's a pretty significant like gold lead, I think. Although I think with Red Team's composition and how Wombo combo oriented they are, I think.
Gets feared out. If Fiddle ult there? No. Okay, I thought Fiddle ulted there. But he just got popped. And Rice seems to be caught out or looking for a pick on the side. Doesn't have Death Mark though. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, Rice's positioning does not seem the greatest.
Well, actually gets the heal out of Orianna. It was really important in that team fight to note that even though Fiddle did get popped by the Jarvan, he was able to get both his Sphere and Exhaust off, which meant that Jarvan really couldn't go any further. So I think they're gonna turn on to the top side jungle here. Maybe push out top lane and set up for Dragon.
Start to develop some more vision control.
Very true, Darren. Can you tell us a little more about vision control and objective-based games?
Yeah. So generally, what happens when you establish vision?
Oh, and this is a prime example of what to do when you don't have vision control.
Wait, what does that mean?
Fiddle looks for
Get caught
a
out?
ward in the jungle. Actually, face checks the bush that Sejuani's sitting in.
Yeah, I think vision control in this game is gonna be really important for the blue team because I think they can't. I think if it's much riskier for them to start Baron,
I think it's
considering
also
how long.
they're really good flank setups with Fiddlesticks and Talia Wall, so if they can just get one side pool of vision in one area, then they can just win some team fights pretty handily.
Although speaking of good flanks, that was a very nice collapse from the blue team onto the Oriana, which allows them to tee up the guy. And this is exactly what we were talking about at the beginning. I think although blue team is a very good split push team, I think again one of their big win conditions was the fact that like if they got a very early lead, because they have so much damage, they can burst down a lot of red teams off.
Hey, so we're actually have a pretty small. Oh, and action onto Armor Toadies forced to ult. Jarvan still has the ultimate ability, chooses not to use it. Back out to his flag.
Aya going in. Aya go down?
And
No.
this is exactly the problem with full AD Jarvan is that you get that initial off, and if you don't initially kill somebody, you essentially become a very squishy person with no cooldowns in the middle of the team.
Also, Jarvan is usually part of a two-step engage, but in this case, Sejuani was not able to engage with Jarvan, which is the usual combo, or a Galio or something
Also,
like
it seemed
that.
like Oriana wasn't there.
Yeah. And we have the luxury of having a pretty small stream right now, which means we can interact with our viewers. Does anybody want to make a prediction in the chat about who's gonna win the game? You can comment #redwin or #bluewin.
Well, it seems quite obvious that blue team's going, so I'm gonna #bluewin. Yeah.
You can also tell us what we can improve about our casting. Do you want to see more play-by-play action? Oh, and it looks like there's a chat in the are you guys seeing this? A chat in the all chat?
Oh, I took away the all chat because we had some inappropriate, not safe for stream phrases. So, you guys want to inform me on it or no?
I think somebody's talking. I can't actually see it because of my overlay, but I think somebody's talking about nerfing Ironbeak.
Is that a Hearthstone reference?
Iron Beak?
Well, when I
don't
think
know
of Ironbeak, I think of owls.
Yeah. Iron Beak Owl? Dude, it got nerfed already. It used to be 2 mana 2/1. Now it's 3 mana 2/1. Come on.
Wow. Yeah, you know, and this really represents the trend in Hearthstone that they've been going through, nerfing silences and
So I think what blue team should be looking to do to close out this game is set up vision control around Baron. Oh, but actually Mucho Rojo getting caught out in the jungle. Jarvan, without using the ultimate ability, goes down. Didn't have flash
Riven
available
going in
for
also
that
in the
fight.
top lane.
It looks very uncoordinated, actually.
Doesn't eat the box shot, but is there going to be a clash from blue team? Look at the flank setup. Oh, there's one box. Is that another? Oh, going in from Shaco, but it looks like his play was in vain.
And going back to the Jarvan fight, like yet again, if Jarvan can't get that initial pop off, right, he is essentially a very squishy member in the lane.
I'm actually curious if blue team can do this, Baron. They're not very tanky, so who can soak this? Oh, ultimate coming up for 720, the wall to cut off the segment. Oh. Great clash from blue team, but do they go for Baron still? Oriana has the ult, Sivir heading in that direction. Oh, but Mucho Rojo coming in with the flank Fiddlesticks.
Silence are getting caught out.
Oriana can't do anything there. So, you guys want to talk about builds this game? I'm a little interested. Does anyone have any input on the Shaco build? I'm fine with Protobot. I'm a little curious on Boots of Swiftness.
Well, I think what it really allows you to do is to get that maneuverability around the team fight. So Shaco, of course, not going to be a huge damage threat later on. Needs to get those boxes down behind enemy lines.
Okay.
Really interesting. Actually, use Protobot mid lane to clear out CS. I think overall a decent play gets the minions to tower.
Really establishes that minion priority.
Hey, Darren, could you tell me what minion priority is for the people in
Oh, well, actually, it feels like blue team is starting to Baron.
Yeah, blue
I
team
think
doesn't even think about priority in this play.
they'll
Yeah.
start
Brennan
and go
looks over
in?
the wall for the Q, doesn't find it. Rice with a nice smite out from Zed.
That was a really smart Baron considering, I think Red team didn't have enough vision to, react.
Yeah, I think it was definitely smart to rush it there, but it was still a little risky giving the 50-50 over with very little control around the pit. Especially with an equal level smite.
But I think the only person there to really react to that Baron was Red.
So one thing to note though is that blue team did not establish priority before that Baron call, so they actually lost mid lane outer for that. Which is one important example of why lane priority is so important.
This game finished actually. So the other one.
What's up?
The game actually finished, so I think blue.
Well, actually, let's not give any spoilers. Let's continue to cast the game because for our viewers that are still engrossed in our League of Legends content,
Nice.
we wouldn't want them to miss anything. One thing that important to note is that Red Team has funneled a lot of their lane CS into their Sejuani, which is pretty out of the ordinary. Usually you want it on your carries.
I think in general, I think Red Team has failed to execute a very strong team fight, even though given the composition. I think,
Definitely. I don't think they got one coordinated team fight, and maybe that's because Blue Team just picked them apart early on, but maybe that's for other reasons.
Yeah,
It seemed like Brennan was the primary initiator and sort of the person taking the initiative to do things, but didn't have a lot of follow-up.
Yeah.
Sorry, Darren, I didn't mean to cut you off there. What were your thoughts on the matter?
It's all okay, my man. Oh, it looks like they're going in.
Oh my god.
Oh,
This
gets
is
a
going
nice pick on
hard for Armor
Talia.
Tony, but just not enough damage to kill
Yeah, Armor doesn't do enough damage at all to kill her. Armor Tony going for the flash, not sure if that was
Oh,
necessary.
that whiffs on the Zonya is very unfortunate. It looks like
It looks
gonna
like-
have this
Oh, Rice makes it out with a
Rice
sliver of
whiffs
health. Gets
barely.
killed by Shaco.
Oh,
It looks like Blue Team's actually going to take the W on this one. Can we talk about standout players? Who do you think performed well?
I think Armor Tony.
Armor Toady guy was.
Well, we can't actually talk about Armor Toady.
Oh, but getting a
Lucky crit-
kill and Fountain killing.
Yeah,
This
actually,
guy-
really great
this
play.
guy's
Really great play from Armor
MVP
Toady,
of
but
the
I'm not
set.
sure we can talk about him at the stream.
Why not, man? Come on,
Um,
let's go against him.
So for those of you who don't know, we're not every.
I'll do a tournament draft because I think 3 bans was too low.
Oh, are we playing again?